What's up, everybody? Welcome to After the Final Whistle, football talk with John and Montel.
What's up, everybody? Montel here, co-host is John. It's the Super Bowl week. Didn't have a game last week, so we decided to take a week off again. How you been, John?
Good. I've been good. Glad that I'm able to join in this week.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I think it was had to be a back end issue because it worked perfectly fine solo from a computer. So I don't know. We won't hold it. I won't hold it against you. Hopefully, our fans don't either. What you got for injuries this week?
Um, Obviously not too much with only two teams remaining, but Uzama is to play. But I believe he was a full participant, so it seems like he's tracking towards playing. V is ruled out, and Henderson has been activated. That's pretty much the biggest on the injury news. There's some. What do you have on news around the league?
So I guess it's getting less and less normal. We're getting into the firing portion of the season. So I've got a lot of hires and fires. So that's going to take me a couple minutes to rattle through. So bear with me. The Ravens have hired Mike McDonald as their defensive coordinator. The Bills have hired Ken Dorsey as their offensive coordinator. The Panthers hired Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator, and Chris Tabor as their special teams coordinator. As me and you both know, Chicago fired everyone, and they've hired Matt Eberflus as their head coach, Ryan Poles as their GM, Luke Getsy as offensive coordinator, Alan Williams as a defensive coordinator, and Richard Hightower as their special teams coordinator.
Okay.
The Broncos, they had they got rid of everyone, and I'm surprised they found anybody willing to take the job. But I mean, good young core on defense. Offense could use some work, but they'll probably finish third in the North this year. NFC North, it is. Let's see. The Broncos have hired Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach and Justin Odden as their offensive coordinator. The Lions hired Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator. The Packers hire Adam Stinovich. Am I saying that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, as their offensive coordinator. And I'm going to get this one wrong. And Rich Bizicca, Bisaccia. If anybody can send me like a pronunciation guide on how to say that, I'd be more than happy to take the criticism there. He's the special teams coordinator there now.
Yep.
I'll pause there for a second.
I'm considering he stepped in as the intern for the Raiders. Should have had the job, in my opinion, because the team really rallied around him.
That's Rich.
Yeah, the special teams.
Okay. He might end up like John Harbaugh, be a special teams guy that actually gets a head coaching gig one day. So I think Joe Judge was also one, but he already got let go. So we see that didn't work out. The next one's kind of interesting to me because I didn't think he would ever get another head coaching gig in the NFL. The Texans hired Lovie Smith as their head coach.
I mean, what?
They'll give him 2 seasons and fire him, but he made playing Chicago a nightmare for years. I was pleasantly surprised, not surprised but happy when they actually fired him in Chicago all those years ago. So he's going to build up a scary defense probably. And I'm not going to say the Texans are going to win 10 games, but they should be a little bit more competitive in a couple of seasons.
I mean, they got to get their picks back to get some talent on that.
It's the bare bottom. The bare bottom, they've got nothing. The Colts hired Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator. The Jaguars poached Doug Peterson from the Vikings as their head coach. This is not a typo. The guy's name is Press Taylor. He's the offensive coordinator. Heath Farwell is the new special teams coordinator, and Mike Caldwell is the defensive coordinator. The Raiders hire Josh McDaniels as the head coach, David Ziegler as their GM, and Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator. I didn't think McDaniels honestly was going to get another shot with as bad as it went in Denver that first go around. And he's also, I don't know if you heard, but he was also pretty cocky. He pretty much told the Raiders he had no interest in interviewing if he wasn't like a shoo-in for the job.
So perfect pick for the Raiders then.
Yeah. One and done. I mean, I don't know. McDaniels, he wasn't that good. He's the idiot that drafted Tim Tebow and said he was going to be a good quarterback. So hopefully it works out. I mean,
hire right after, the whole, what was it, 10 years, 100.
Yeah, it was a big contract. And they still, I don't know if they're still paying that or not, but I think they'll give him some time, hopefully. But the Raiders just haven't been good. I mean, they have been competitive, I don't want to say they have an easy schedule because they play out in the AFC East. They got to play the Chiefs and the Chargers twice a year. And are sneaky good some years too, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. We apparently like them this year because we covered 10 of their games between the two of us. So
I mean, somebody this year. It weren't me.
I picked the ones with the best record, and we move on. So, the Dolphins have hired Mike McDaniel as their head coach. Have you heard much about this guy?
16-year-old kid that just got up off the street from playing Madden.
Yeah, he some of his press conferences just cracked me up. He had one, his introductory one a couple days ago, and there he said, "I've heard people say welcome to Miami like 5 times now. Are you guys gonna finish the song?" And the reporter's just like, "I don't know, dude. Maybe later." So he's a goofy dude. I thought he'd maybe wait a year to get a head coaching job, but if he thinks he can turn the Dolphins around, good luck.
I mean, Dolphins really weren't that far off to begin with. They just needed to not pull the rug out for Flores.
Yep. And what I mean by turnaround is he's not going to win 11, 12 games like he did when he was in San Francisco. Not for a couple years. So the Vikings have hired Kevin O'Connell as their head coach. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah as their GM, and Ed Donatel as their defensive coordinator. Ed Donatel was a Packers defensive coordinator some years ago. Apparently lost a game with I don't know against who. It was like a 4th and 26 he gave up, and they actually fired him in the offseason. Do you remember anything about Donatel? I need to scoop.
Not offhand, I don't. Not offhand. But I mean,
all right.
4th and 26. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised to hear.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like in the last game. I think it might have been they were supposed to get in the playoffs, and that cost them. So, hopefully, I mean, we were pretty bad at giving up 4th and longs this year. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully he's not terrible. They said he's a Vic Fangio disciple. He's followed him everywhere he's went for the last few years. So, and Vic Fangio and Mike Zimmer are probably in my mind, two like the top in their 70s. Not a bunch of young guys besides like the Miko Ryans that know a lot of defense nowadays. So I wish we would have got Vic instead, but I'll take the consolation prize with Donatel, I guess.
I mean, and he probably has learned from that mistake. So
I hope so. It's not that hard. Yeah. how you can't even give up a 4th and 26 in Madden if you tried. That's ridiculous. So hopefully I don't call you screaming about y'all need to come get this bum because I don't want him.
Been there, done that. We moved on.
And just like that, we'll move on. The Saints have promoted their defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, to their head coach. Former Raiders head coach who went 8-28 from 2012 to 2014. Sean Payton stepped down, so I guess this is the best they could do on short notice.
Well, I kind of have a feeling Saints are not going to be a playoff contender for a few years.
Let the church say amen. You know how I feel about the Saints. I'm not going to go into gory detail on this podcast, but I've got no love for the Saints or the city of New Orleans. So
I get it. I understand just the talent that they have lost off of that team, which was off the ball.
and they're also like $70 million over the cap.
Yeah.
Because we got two more here. Two more bullets. The Giants have hired Brian Daboll as their head coach, Joe Shulin as their GM, Mike Kafka as their offensive coordinator, and this is probably like a top-tier name, Wink Martindale as their defensive coordinator. Steelers have hired Terrell Austin as their defensive coordinator, and that's it. That's their only change. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Tomlin is as steady as it gets. Worst season he's had in 16, 15 seasons, 8-8, never below 500.
Yeah.
They don't make changes in Pittsburgh like that off of emotion. So good he's getting a chance to come back.
Yeah. I mean, he just cracked me up in his interviews too. Just like how intense he is.
Yeah. He ripped some reporter who's like, "Are you interested in USC job?" And he's like, "Man, look, I got one of the greatest gigs in the NFL. What the hell is like going back to college?" That answer your question? Like, damn. Straight to the point, man. He's a straight shooter. I like Mike Tomlin. Next up, we got. I'm sure you heard the NFL Honors was earlier this week, and there's quite a few here. Quite a few here too. So, to the shock of no one, Jamar Chase, wide receiver for the Bengals, won the AP and the Pepsi Rookie of the Year award. Micah Parsons, Cowboys linebacker, won the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. The AP Defensive Player of the Year went to Steelers linebacker / edge rusher TJ Watt. The FedEx Air and Ground players go to Tom Brady and Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if it's not obvious. Tom Brady won air and Jonathan Taylor won ground. The AP Offensive Player of the Year goes to Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. AP Comeback Player of the Year goes to Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. MVP, also by the Associated Press, which is the AP, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The AP Assistant Coach of the Year, kind of surprising, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. AP Coach of the Year, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. I can't think of the guy's name in Cincinnati, but he probably should have won it over Mike Vrabel. He only got 2 votes. The guy from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Walter Payton Man of the Year goes to Rams left tackle Andrew Whitworth. Best moment of the year is Justin Tucker's 66-yard nuclear explosion field goal. It was a walk-off. I mean, you talked about that for a week because it was shocking as hell for it to happen.
And he never got random drug tested. I'm pretty sure.
Nope. You know why? Because he had to.
If he would have done it, sleeveless, maybe.
Yeah, he would have drug tested them, or pantsless, I guess. But probably another subject we can't talk too much about without getting demonetized. So
make it with no shoe from 66 yards away.
They probably give him a drug test then, and like, man, you're on some shit for sure.
Right.
Next up, we got got the Hall of Fame class of 2022. Tony Buscelli, Leroy Butler, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Bryant Young, Cliff Branch, Art McNally, and Dick Vermeil. I know a couple of these people. I know Buscelli and Seymour. I thought Seymour would have got in quicker because he has like 3 Super Bowls. Had like 8 or 9 all pros, a bunch of Pro Bowls. I was surprised it took him that long to get in. Dick Vermeil's a coach. He's the playoff guy. I want to talk about playoff. Everybody knows that. So yeah, he's a solid dude. Buscelli was like the first pick for the Jaguars, and how you dropped the Hall of Fame with your first pick, the world will never know. And then you became absolute garbage from there on out. So a few more bullets here. Almost sorry. The Washington football team has chosen a new nickname, the Commanders. The jokes kind of write themselves. There's no nickname for them, so some people are just going to call them the Commies. I think it's funny. How about you? You got any thoughts on that? It's kind of a dumb name. They asked Chase Young about it on a radio show, and they said, hey, rate these names from A through F, and they brought up Commanders, and he laughed and just yelled F. So I don't think many are fond of it.
I mean, I think it's Arena Football League name, not an NFL name.
Yeah, it sounds like one of these like little podunk teams or something you find that like me and you would play pickup games for. You know what I mean? That's the best they could do. They got they got this big department. That's the best they could do. Trash.
But what's happening with their front office? I think the name of the team's the least of their concerns.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off judging and making comments until the full story comes out. Yeah, but it ain't looking good.
We just report what we read. We try not to dig too deep into it before we have all the facts.
Right. So this might actually kind of tick you off. Bleacher Report is reporting that Eric Dickerson, the Rams' great running back, he was planning to attend the Super Bowl, but is not because he was only offered nosebleed seats. Makes no sense to me.
Why would you give? Yeah, that's stupid.
Great, yeah. So that's a bridge that they probably should not have burned. But like, what do we say all the time? What do we know? We don't know nothing. We just got a podcast and we talk about stuff. So very
Pretty
stupid
much.
move on there. Very, very stupid. Another interesting little tip news. The New York Post is reporting the NFL is recruiting Robert F. Smith. He's the country's richest black man to buy the Denver Broncos. Smith is, however, hesitant to make a bid. I'm just curious, when I was reading little bits and pieces of that, why, if you guys are having a hard time finding someone to buy a team, why not get like a collective to do it instead of trying to get one person to do it? But not like the Broncos are bad. They won a Super Bowl a few years ago. So I would, if I was a billionaire and I had to pick a team that wasn't the Vikings, it'd probably be the Broncos over like the Jaguars.
Before we move on, Pro Bowl was last week, and I haven't heard anything recently. But the whole situation, have you?
No, not other than what they talked about the other day. Pretty much, when they were looking for him, he was already at the Pro Bowl, and the police notified NFL security, and they kind of came to the conclusion that he wasn't a flight risk or anything. and that they were going to allow him to play the game before they actually apprehended him. So I haven't heard much more. I think it was like an assault in a bar or something. Is that what you were hearing?
It was. I had heard it was like a guy trying to get onto an elevator. Alvin tried to stop him from getting on. One thing led to another, and allegedly severely the guy pretty bad, like fractured or all that.
Jesus. Let's see.
Yeah.
It says 5 days ago, New Orleans Saints player Alvin Kamara booked on charges of battery resulting in substantial bodily harm after incident at Las Vegas nightclub. Let's see. No, I don't. I don't see anything. It says if he's convicted, he can get up to 5 years in prison under Nevada law.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing. Nothing new. He has a court hearing in March.
Okay. So I won't hear anything then.
Yeah, or maybe when he gets closer towards the trial.
Yeah. And then another that we talked about earlier in the year about how NFL is looking to expand. You hear that this year there's going to be a game in Munich, Germany.
Oh, why? Well, I know they got a lot of football fans. There used to be like a NFL Europa team there, right? So they got a pretty good big fan base. I don't think as big as London, but
so we got London games, and now we're going to have games in Germany.
are they still doing Mexico City? I know that was a hot topic at one point.
Nothing has been announced. So maybe next year, year after.
I'm all for expansion, man. I think Oklahoma's big enough for at least one team. If Ohio can do two, we can do one. You know what I mean? It's it's a little ridiculous we don't have one. I mean, it would probably go to. I don't think Tulsa would get one, but that's only an hour and a half drive from Tulsa. So they probably picked something stupid like the Oklahoma Buffaloes or something like that.
I agree that, I mean, we do have the Thunder out here. So I could see us potentially trying to support NFL team. The Tulsa Drillers, the league for years, so.
You talking about that team in Oklahoma City that's like a professional G League team that has like a bunch of like young 20-year-olds on it that doesn't win many games?
Tulsa Drillers is the double A, and then there's one in Oklahoma, which I believe is triple A.
No, I was joking about the Thunder just sucking in general.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the baseball team. I mean, yeah, Thunder. I know this is a football podcast, but the Thunder just have a lot of young kids on the team, so we'll see what happens.
We got like 20 first-round picks in the next like 5 years too, so they're gonna run out of money to pay everybody. But yeah, like you said, football podcast, not basketball, but we did do some predictions last time we were on the show for the conference championship games. So you had the NFC, I had the AFC. You predicted the 49ers would lose to the Rams 24-35. They did lose 17-20. Overall, this is going to be the last one for this season. 36-16 overall. You were 1-1 last week and 1-0 this week. So that's a wide margin of victory. You have me. I'm behind by 9 games, so there's no way for me to come back at this point.
Right.
I had the Bengals and the Chiefs. I said the Bengals will win 30-27. They won 27-24. 1-0, and I was 2-0 last week. So 1-0 this week, 2-0 last week for overall of 27 and 25. We predicted 52 games apiece for a total of 104. And yeah, we got something like 60 or 65% of them right together. So I don't know. Maybe Vegas come calling, John. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, sometimes we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So I didn't talk to you about this segment because it seemed pretty straightforward. You knew we had to do it. Super Bowl predictions. What is your new prediction for the Super Bowl or Superbowl, as some people would say?
I'm going to be honest. Kind of been difficult because I kind of want to see both. I know that's not possible. So that I am a man of my word. I said if the Packers were out, I'd root. So with the Rams over. I want to say 33 to down to.
Okay, I could feel that. I don't think it's going to be quite that close. I think Rams 31, Bengals 27. No, sorry, 17. I don't know why I said 27. 17.
So, but I mean, just seeing the Bengals like play, I know we talked about it, but like it's very reminiscent of the 2 years it's in the Super Bowl.
They got hot at the right time. I think the Bengals they've got something special. They've got a pretty long Super Bowl window. They just have to find a way to get over the Chiefs, and I think their window is probably like 3 to 5 seasons. The Rams, realistically, we're looking at like 1 to 3, so they're starting to run out of time. So I'd much rather see the Rams win it than the Bengals right now. Don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow's phenomenal as like a quarterback. He's got that comeback player of the year. He also has a lot of weapons, but the Rams got a lot on defense, man. They've got a all-pro caliber player like every level of their defense. So it'll be interesting to watch that game for sure.
It will. I expect it to be an exciting game. I mean, I'll because if the Rams won, but I got to go with the Rams. We'll see. And then you got Evan Ice in my veins, McPherson just ready to kick the ball whenever. So see what happens.
I think the world is I don't want to say rooting against the Bengals, but I don't think many people are giving them a chance in this game. But yeah, like you said, it'll be good. I did have some trivia last week that you skipped out on. Let me go back and pull up my question. All right, you ready?
All right.
With Big Ben, with Big Ben retiring, can you name 3 of the top 5 active pick six leaders? Ben was active. They gotta be active.
Oh, active. But Tom Brady, I mean, I know he retired, but what counted at that time?
Yes, he would have counted at that time.
So one of
Yeah, he would have counted. Brady's 17. I'll give you a hint. One of them plays in the NFC South.
Ooh. Carson Wentz.
No, specifically the Falcons.
Really? I didn't think.
Yep, he's tied for 15 with Jay Cutler. I'll give you one more hint. The other guy is in the Super Bowl.
Matt Stafford.
Yep, he has 27 career pick sixes. He's tied for Drew Brees, despite the fact that he's played 8 years less, with 27.
Dude was in years. I mean, not his fault.
We call it purgatory.
Halfway.
We'll give him 13 and a half. That moves him down to like right below Blake Bortles or above Blake Bortles. So I think that's more.
Yeah.
But with that's my question. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I do have a question for you.
All right, I'll do my best.
If the Bengals win,
Oh God,
Joe Burrow will join which two other players that have won a national title in college and a Super Bowl title?
Two players.
Two players.
What year were the players in college?
I don't have that info, but I will tell you both players were quarterbacks. I would say probably one of them was in college in the 80s, one in like the 60s, 70s. Granted, that's just total guess off the top of my head.
Yeah, anything before like 2000, I've got no idea. You know what teams they play for?
One played for the Jets and one played for the 49ers.
Joe Montana?
One of them.
Okay. And he played for the Niners, I'm guessing.
He was the Niners, yeah. I mean, I think Chiefs, but Niners.
Is the other one Vinny Testaverde?
No.
Joe Namath?
Yeah. So if Joe Burrow and T. Jones, Joe Montana, and Joe Namath.
I mean, it's a pretty impressive list, honestly. Both of them are Hall of Famers, I believe. So I'm not putting Burrow in the Hall of Fame yet. Same with Pat Mahomes, but if he keeps up this trajectory, he'll definitely be a first ballot Hall of Fame when he retires.
I agree, but it's just weird that like the only other two people to ever do that is have the same first name as him. So it's just name it the Joe Club and move on.
Maybe if we're doing this in 5-10 years, there'll be another guy named Joe that wins one with win a championship in Alabama or like Georgia or something, and then come to the NFL and get him a championship. We'll hopefully remember that.
Right. Also, another fun fact about this is it is featuring one overall quarterbacks, number one overall picks. Joe is the young pick to make it to the Super Bowl.
What is he, 23?
Or not youngest, but experience-wise, in his second year. Matt Stafford is the oldest, making it to the 13th year.
He ain't that old, man. Stafford's he's got some tread on them tires still, maybe.
I agree.
They've also they got the oldest player in the league on their team, I think, that actually plays a position that's not kicker. Whitworth, he's 40. He's
Oh,
second.
I
I
thought
think
you
he's second.
dude comes in off of the street and like leads the team in tackles. Like, what the hell?
Funny about that is he came back that first game or whatever. He said, "Oh yeah, they told me I'm going to play 15 snaps." He played like I think it was like 15, 20. And then the next game he plays every single snap on defense. So talk about getting thrown to the wolves. I guess it's good he remembered the defense.
Right. But if you can cut this part out, but have you seen the Georgia Bulldogs like running back commit?
No, is he a monster?
Yes, just like Google it. Like I think he deadlifts like pounds. Derrick Henry.
Let's see. Oh my God. Sweet baby. That dude is huge. You sure?
That's what he.
Ain't no way. All right. I'm not cutting this out. It'll be an extra towards the end. You all go look up Brian Robinson. And send us an email. Let us know what you think about this dude. He's freaking huge. He could probably go to the NFL right now. No,
Yeah.
no, bro.
Yeah.
And speaking of college, we'll probably start some draft coverage here a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. So be on the lookout for that, y'all.
Yep. But other than things, I am out of for tonight.
All right. Well, man, you know what time it is. So we asked for 20 weeks in a row. Still didn't get one, but we'll keep at it. Leave us a voice message. We'll answer it on air, or email us or your questions at after the final whistle podcast at gmail.com. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast. If you want us to see us somewhere else, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to give it a try. And with that, I'm Montel. Peace.
Until next, take care.
We'll be right back with a quick message from one of our sponsors. I get asked quite a bit how John and I went about spinning up a podcast so quick. We use an application or a platform called Anchor. It has the tools that allow you to upload and record your podcast right from your phone or your computer. I've done both, and they're really quick and simple to use. When hosting a podcast on Anchor, you can distribute it quickly on various platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. It has everything you need all in one place, and best of all, it's completely free. Download the Anchor app from your Play Store or your Apple Store, or go to anchor.fm to get started today.